Hollywood worships beauty but strangles aging. Behind the velvet curtain, 19 power icons have been forced to trade their real faces for a ticket to survive. This isn't plastic surgery, these are tear-soaked battles for existence. Will you still recognize them after the cuts carved by prejudice? Comment 1 if you feel moved and heartbroken, or 0 if it seems normal to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The raw truth is about to be exposed. The name Vanessa Williams is more than a title, it is a historic milestone. In 1984, she placed the Miss America crown on her head, shattering racial barriers with her radiant smile and proud charisma. Though public controversy once stripped that crown away, Vanessa rose like a fiery phoenix reborn, even stronger in music and film. But Hollywood is a ruthless king forever worshiping youth. As the marks of time began to appear, Vanessa faced a new battle. Unwilling to accept the laws of nature, she turned to artificial miracles. It began with subtle changes, like an attempt to hold on to spring. But gradually, the interventions grew deeper. The unnaturally smooth skin, the smile that once melted countless hearts, now seemed strained, as if frozen in an eternal moment. People noticed the change not with judgment, but with regret. She had conquered every societal prejudice, yet somehow lost her way in the maze of perfection she pursued. Is this the tragedy of beauty icons, that they are never allowed to grow old? In the 90s, Vivica A. Fox embodied sharp, magnetic allure. From Independence Day to Kill Bill, she was a force of nature, a woman whose beauty and talent shone with equal brilliance. She proved that star power could be both fierce and undeniably captivating. But once the clock passed her 40s, the spotlight slowly shifted. In an industry that treats women like flowers with an expiration date, Vivica began to feel the chill of being overlooked. Instead of letting time shape a new kind of allure, she chose to confront it head-on. Speculation about cosmetic enhancements began to surface. Her once soft features appeared different to some observers, and fans found themselves adjusting to a Vivica who seemed to be navigating the tension between past and present expectations. Though she remained strong and dedicated in her craft, the changes in her appearance, whether real or perceived, became a quiet testament to the immense pressure in Hollywood. When you don't want to be replaced, you may feel compelled to reinvent yourself, even if the price is seeing a stranger in the mirror. Wendy Williams, the steel woman of daytime television. She built her empire on boldness, blunt honesty, and unapologetic confidence. Yet behind that towering presence was a soul marked by scars and quietly rooted insecurities. Unlike many others, Wendy chose to reshape her appearance even at the height of her success. For her, it was a kind of armor, a way to face millions of scrutinizing eyes every single day. But life was far from gentle. Turmoil in her marriage and struggles with her health pulled her into a spiral that seemed impossible to escape. Over time, her cosmetic choices became less about beauty and more like emotional medicine, a desperate attempt to regain control of a life slipping through her fingers. The transformation that followed left audiences stunned. The features that once defined Wendy's signature look appeared to change, replaced by swelling and proportions that felt unfamiliar to viewers. Her story leaves behind a lingering sadness. Even when you possess one of the strongest voices on television, you can still lose your way while trying to shape your own identity. LisaRaye McCoy was once described as a raw, uncut gem. Her elegant beauty and regal aura in The Players Club placed her among Hollywood's most admired women. Her marriage to a head of state seemed like the perfect fairy tale ending, yet it opened the door to a stormy new chapter. When that castle of happiness collapsed, LisaRaye found herself standing alone, fighting public scrutiny and the pressure to rebuild her life. In an effort to maintain the polished image of a first lady in the eyes of the world, she reportedly turned to cosmetic enhancements as a lifeline. But over time, those choices appeared to drift far from her naturally graceful appearance. The soft contours she was known for seemed to some observers to grow sharper and more rigid. A pointed chin, unusually high cheekbones, features that many felt overshadowed her original charm. LisaRaye's transformation wasn't mere vanity. It was the reflection of a woman trying to rewrite her story, trying to reclaim fragments of power and youth. Yet in the process, she seemed to trap herself within a version of her image that felt increasingly unfamiliar. NeNe Leakes was never just a reality TV star, she was a tropical storm sweeping across the small screen. Her debut on The Real Housewives of Atlanta in 2008 hit like a lightning bolt, loud, dazzling, and undeniably powerful. With her booming laugh and instantly iconic one-liners, she became the soul and heartbeat of an entire franchise. But in that glittering world, a fierce personality alone isn't always enough. The higher the fame, the closer the public microscope gets, examining every expression and every feature on her face. 2010 marked a turning point when NeNe reportedly chose to undergo her first cosmetic procedures. At the start, it was simply a desire to refine her look, a small upgrade to match her rising stardom. But that pursuit of perfection soon felt like a maze with no exit. Life's hardships, especially the heartbreaking loss of her husband, Greg Leakes, seemed to pull her into a quiet internal battle. As her world grew chaotic and difficult to control, enhancing her appearance appeared to some like the only lifeline she had left to regain a sense of power over her life. Over time, viewers began to perceive a change. Her skin appeared smoother, her cheekbones more pronounced, and the smile that once felt so natural seemed to some more rigid, almost frozen in place. People felt they were no longer seeing the NeNe, they remembered the woman whose raw beauty burned with attitude and fire. Instead, what they saw resembled a flawless yet distant wax figure. NeNe's story reflects a modern tragedy. When you try to use outward appearance to cover the wounds inside, you may accidentally lose the very identity that once made you unforgettable. Kim Fields grew up alongside the heartbeat of America. The image of little Tootie on the facts of life with her bright eyes and innocent smile left an indelible mark on the memories of millions of 80s viewers. She was the sweetheart of a generation embodying pure beauty and the promise of a brilliant future. But Hollywood is a harsh stepmother to its beloved children. When the spotlight of her childhood dimmed, Kim was left facing the vast emptiness of growing up. In 2015, when she returned to the spotlight through The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim wasn't just joining a TV show, she was stepping into a brutal beauty arena where standards seemed measured by skin tightness and the fullness of lips. The pressure to compete with colleagues pursuing an artificial look combined with the burden of maintaining a seemingly ageless image in the eyes of fans reportedly pushed Kim toward cosmetic enhancements. What may have started as small tweaks to preserve youth gradually became more pronounced. Her cheeks appeared fuller than before, and the radiant smile she was once known for seemed to some viewers less natural under layers of filler. The most heartbreaking part of Kim Fields' story isn't the change in appearance, but her struggle with her own past. She isn't just grappling with aging, she's racing against the audience's memories of little Tootie. The effort to freeze time seems to have left her with a look that feels unfamiliar, overshadowing the mature beauty and true talent of a woman who has lived through so much. Kim Fields stands as a reminder sometimes the price of holding on to past glory is losing the face of the present. Tichina Arnold never needed dazzling beauty to captivate audiences. From the sassy Pam in Martin to the stern yet loving Rochelle in Everybody Hates, Chris Ticina brought ordinary characters to life with her natural talent. She proved that true charisma comes from presence, not appearance. But when the stage lights dimmed, Hollywood whispered its harsh truths. Crossing into her 40s, Ticina noticed roles becoming scarcer, making way for younger faces. At the same time, her marriage was rocked by public betrayal and heartbreak, delivering a heavy blow to the pride of a woman known for her resilience. Amid the whirlwind of a stalled career and a broken personal life, Ticina seemed to some observers to turn to cosmetic procedures as a way to regain control. Rumors about rhinoplasty and fillers began to circulate. The once round, expressive, and warm face appeared to many sharper and more distant. Fuller cheeks and a smile that some felt seemed strained seemed to overshadow the natural warmth, her strongest asset. Audiences felt a pang of nostalgia, not because she aged, but because they sensed the loss of her authentic self. Ticina remains steadfast, continuing to give her all to her craft. Yet the changes in her appearance serve as an invisible scar of the entertainment industry. In the 90s, Trina McGee was a rare flower in the garden of Hollywood. Her role as Angela Moore in Boy Meets World not only brought cultural diversity to the screen, but also introduced an intellectual, elegant beauty that captivated audiences. She became a symbol of refinement, the dream first love of countless fans. However, as the glow of that iconic role faded, Trina faced a harsh reality. A black actress over 40 in Hollywood can feel like a flower left forgotten. After personal setbacks and a stalled career, she reportedly placed her hopes in the gamble of appearance, seeking to reclaim the lost spotlight. But cosmetic procedures are not magic wands. Efforts to preserve youth appeared to some observers to have backfired. A nose that seemed overly refined, eyes that always appeared wide and startled and tight, inflexible skin seemed to diminish the soft charm she once had. These changes didn't bring new roles, only a sense of sadness from fans. Trina McGee's story carries a bittersweet shade of solitude. She wasn't chasing trends out of vanity, but out of a survival instinct within the industry. Yet ironically, the very effort to be seen seemed to make her more invisible than ever. She inadvertently closed the door back to herself, leaving a lingering sadness about the price of expectations and the fear of being forgotten. From the 90s, first love to a flower left behind, Trina McGee took a gamble on appearance and lost to the passage of time. A poignant ending for a woman simply trying to reclaim herself. What's your perspective? Comment 2 if you empathize with her situation. Comment 5 if you disagree with her choices. Support us with a like and subscribe now to stay updated on more shocking stories. Being born into the legendary Jackson family was both a privilege and a curse. LaToya Jackson grew up in the enormous shadow of Michael and Janet, constantly struggling to carve out her own place and identity. The pressure to shine, to stand out, haunted her from the very beginning. Starting in the late 80s, LaToya reportedly began a journey of changing her appearance, coinciding with the turbulent events surrounding her brother Michael. But her tragedy ran deeper, tied to the controlling and abusive influence of her ex-husband. For LaToya, cosmetic procedures were more than beauty enhancements. They seemed to some observers like a way to escape, to erase the painful reality she was enduring. Each rhinoplasty, each filler injection, seemed to some observers to carve out a new version of LaToya. Yet at the same time, they appeared to strip away her remaining natural features. Her face seemed sharper, less vibrant, like a hastily sculpted wax figure. After escaping her hellish marriage, LaToya gained her freedom, but her face continued to bear witness to those dark years. She wanted to stand out and not be overshadowed, yet in the end, she became the focus of both sympathy and curiosity. LaToya Jackson stands as one of the most poignant examples. When cosmetic procedures are used as a means to escape pain, the price may be paid not just in appearance, but in the soul itself. Patti LaBelle is more than a singer. She is a living legacy. For over 6 decades at the pinnacle of her craft, her voice has been a natural force, soaring, powerful, and mesmerizing. From Lady Marmalade to heart-wrenching ballads, Patti has been a symbol of grandeur, an uncrowned queen in the hearts of her fans. Yet even icons cannot escape the harsh laws of time. As wrinkles began to appear, marking the passage of years, Patti, accustomed to perfection under the stage lights, seemed to some observers to hesitate. In the mid-2000s, she reportedly turned to cosmetic procedures in an effort to hold on to her youthful appearance. However, those interventions appeared to some observers to disrupt the natural harmony of her features. A once delicate nose seemed sharper, cheekbones appeared rigid, and her forehead seemed to lose its natural expressiveness. On stage, her voice remains magical, but her face, once a vessel for every nuance of emotion, now seemed to many more limited. Audiences still love her, yet they witness a painful contradiction, an immortal voice seemingly confined within an appearance struggling against nature. Patti LaBelle remains a legend, but her story leaves an open question. Are we being too harsh by not allowing our icons to age gracefully? The journey exploring these 19 shocking transformations ends here, but the questions about beauty and the pressures of fame remain. Which transformation do you regret the most? Let us know in the comments section. Your engagement is the motivation that helps us create even higher quality videos. Like, share, and subscribe to be the first to hear the next shocking behind-the-scenes stories. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Hollywood worships beauty, but strangles aging. Behind the velvet curtain, 19 power icons have been forced to trade their real faces for a ticket to survive. This isn't plastic surgery, these are tear-soaked battles for existence. Will you still recognize them after the cuts carved by prejudice? Comment 1 if you feel moved and heartbroken, or 0 if it seems normal to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The raw truth is about to be exposed.